Renaissance was the time of rebirth and revival, going back to the times of ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Just like in Greece, the people of the Renaissance studied sciences and were curious about the unknowns of the world and the universe. It was also a time of innovation and invention. Most of this innovation and invention was brought on by rebellion. Rebellion was a common theme throughout most of the Renaissance.
Religious reformation was big in the Renaissance. Martin Luther was one of the first people that changed religion. Martin Luther was a man who rebelled against the Catholic Church. His dad was a copper miner and was very strict. Martin Luther's dad wanted him to become a lawyer, so he had sent him off to a university. But when lightning struck close to him, he vowed to St. Anne to become a monk. After he became a monk, he visited Rome, where he saw that the people were getting the wrong impression of the church by buying indulgences. He thought that the indulgences were wrong. An indulgence is a piece of paper you would buy to avoid punishment for sins, for both on earth and after death. Martin Luther did not believe in indulgences. He believed in forgiveness, that it comes from feeling sorry or having faith. Martin did not believe in doing good work would get you to heaven. He got excommunicated. Martin moved to Wittenberg, where he was preaching and writing the rest of his life, and that was where he raised his 6 children with his wife. This change made a new church, the Protestant church. Without him changing the church, we wouldn't have all the different churches we have today, so we would all be Catholic.
At the beginning of the Renaissance, books were made by monks and other people who had to hand copy every word on every page into the new book. The monks would sit for hours, and if there was even one mistake, they had to throw away the whole page. It took about a year for just one book to be made, and sometimes longer. The only books that were made were Bibles and songbooks. Then in 1455, the printing press was invented by Gutenberg. The first printing press was operated by carving letters into brass and then filling them with molten lead. Then the operator would paint everything with ink and put the paper into the machine. Then a handle brought the wooden arm of the machine down to press the letters on the paper. This invention changed the way we thought about books. With the printing press, we could print dozens of pages an hour, and since they could make so many so fast, they cost less than books that were hand-copied. Now even the poorer people could afford to have books. Most people did not like the idea of this invention, but if Gutenberg had not rebelled against the old-fashioned ways of making books and invented the printing press, we would probably still be sitting in dark rooms copying books by hand. And we definitely would not have as many different types of books. Most importantly, we would not be as smart, because if you can't read or write, it's hard to learn anything and retain that information among generations.
Before Kepler's 3 laws, people thought everything rotated around the earth. Kepler was born December 27, 1571. Kepler went to the University of Tübingen. He was a teacher in mathematics and astronomy. He taught at a Protestant school in Graz, and that is where Johannes Kepler made his 3 laws. The modern-day astronomy was influenced by Kepler's laws. They are called Kepler's laws. The first law stated that each planet orbited about the sun in an eclipse. The sun's center is always located at one focus of the orbital eclipse. The second law was an imaginary line joining a planet and the sun sweeps equal areas of space during equal time intervals as the planet orbits. The third law he had was the squares of the orbital period of the planets are directly proportional to the cube of a semi-major axis of their orbit.
Andreas Vesalius, also known as the father of anatomy, was born in Brussels on December 31, 1514. He studied medicine at the universities of Louvain and Paris. He then moved on to teach anatomy at the universities of Pavia, Bologna, and Padua. He would lecture, and to demonstrate his lectures, he would then dissect. In 1543, Andreas Vesalius published his book on the fabric of the human body. The illustrations in his book were more correct and more detailed than any other of that time period. The drawings really inspired others to want to learn more about the human body and how it worked. They really sparked an interest in the public. His drawings were sort of a kickstart to the scientific revolution. If he hadn't made those drawings and people had not wanted to learn more about anatomy, we wouldn't know all that we know today about the human body or how it works. Our medicines and treatments would not be advanced any at all. So everything, even a cold, could possibly kill us.
For Martin Luther and the reformation of the church, the invention of the printing press, and the scientific revolution, the Renaissance was a time for growth. We learned so much during this time period about so many different topics. It was in the Renaissance that, for the first time, that people as a whole were becoming more advanced and educated than ever before. Without the Renaissance and all the leaders of that time, we would not be where we are today.